Hello everyone, Mark here. Welcome back to my garage. Now, I know it's been a long time. Please, ladies, calm down. Or to gentlemen, I'm not want to be about your preferences. Calm down. I know you've missed my beautiful face, but no, despite what some people may have thought, I've not died. I've just been a little bit busy and had a few physical and mental health issues to deal with, so I apologise for the lack of videos. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. This is just going to be a little bits and pieces episode, as you can see in the title. Just basically taking you through as a shop update, really, more than anything. There are one or two bits I've bought that I'm going to show you, and one or two projects that I've got on the go that I'm also going to show you. But yeah. It's mainly just going to be a quick update video, just to make sure and let all you people know that I am in fact still alive and still producing videos. So let's bring the first thing onto the bench over here, and I'll show you to start off with some of the new things I've bought. Right, this is the first little lot. I went to a car boot sale. What would it be? Not this Sunday just gone, but it was actually the previous Sunday. And I just picked up these at the car boot sale. Nice little find, really. Yes, they need some tidying up, of course, but as you can see, I've got a couple of nice different sized V blocks here. Yeah, they're definitely in need of some TLC. This was a nice little find as well. Just a nice pair of internal circlip pliers here. The pair I've got are over here somewhere. Here they are. These ones, as you can see, are a little bit shot, shall we say. The ends are all really worn out, and it doesn't move very well either, this. So instead, those will just go into my emergency use drawer, and now I have these nicer and nice feeling ones as well. These do feel nice to use, which is wonderful. Springs are nice and taut on it as well, which is always a pleasure. And also then was this nice find. All works as a nice little hand/pin vise. Wonderful. Its jaws are not quite that brilliant, as you can probably see there. There's some pitting in them and just general wear and tear on them, so at some point I'll probably see how hard this is. Actually, I've got a file here. Okay, so the file does cut it, as you can see, so it's not super hardened material or anything like that. It's not super hardened material, so I should be able to dress these up with the mill, and then they'll have nice smooth jaws then for holding delicate work as well. They've got the rear hinge point that you can also use. A lot of people don't realise this, but you can use this rear hinge point here to also grip some really fine stuff by opening the jaw all the way. That can also be a nice little feature as well. So yeah, this is the car boot find that I got a little while back. So yeah, that's a nice little find, that. I think I paid, I think at most there was I think it came, I can't remember now, was it about a tenner for this lot? So that'll do quite nicely, methinks. So this was my latest eBay score. I got these, and actually over here there's a few Myford change wheels as well, although I have these coming out my ears now, so these will be useful for something down the road. If not, I'll just sell them at some point probably. I don't know yet. But what I did is I was able to score, as you can see, a nice set of three things here. Number one is a nice smaller Jacob's chuck, but with a Morse Taper 2 still on here, which is quite nice, and its key came with it, which is always a pleasant surprise. It's a nice smooth action one. It's been well looked after, this, so that's a nice smaller drill chuck. That's going to be rather nice to use, that. Also came in it was this Live Center, also Morse Taper 2. It's a little bit sticky, so I can tell it hasn't been used for a while. Thankfully, this one has got the adjustment pins on it, so you can actually dismantle this one, unlike the cheap Chinese one that I broke and took the bearing out of eventually, because it's you can't feel that. You can't obviously feel that yourself, but it's like riding over grains of sand. So This particular bearing that was in that live centre that I did have is utter toast. So I kept hold of the components in case I need some hardened precise steel, because that's what these are made of. So at least I have them. But this, I don't see a name anywhere on this at all. There's a little bit of surface rust on it as well. I just need to clean that up with a wire wheel. That'll clean up quite nicely. The taper, yes, there's some marring on it and some discoloration to it, but it's completely smooth. Feeling that there, I cannot feel that surface marking there, so it's completely smooth. That it's not threaded in the end. That's just where the it was done for machining wise. Just a live centre was or a dead centre was put in there when they machined it. So, but it looks like it's got a brazed on carbide tip, from what I can tell. So this should be a nice long lasting one. So that's going to be rather fun to be able to have a live centre once again, rather than having to just manage with a dead centre that I've been having to do recently. But the final thing that was really worth the purchase was this. Now this is a oil gun that fits with an end that fits all the oil points on Myford lathes. The ones, and like the one that I've got that you can buy from China, for instance, the tip is way too large. These tips here are too big, and you can't get into some of the spaces where there's the recessed oil points. They're Zerk style oil points, but some of them are recessed inside the casting. So you need a narrower point, and I was debating just turning down some adapters, and then I found this, so I was like, I'm going to just buy this and just use the other one for other reasons. I don't know if you can read that. As you can see, it's a nice actual, I think that's a Wanner, you pronounce it, Wanner or Warner, and it was made in Switzerland, so it's a nice high quality piece of kit, this, and I've already used it. It's got oil in it. It works a treat, and unlike the cheapo eBay one, this doesn't leak if you lay it down, or it just doesn't leak in general. The eBay one just leaks. You just leave it there and it'll have emptied all its oil by the time you come to use it next. So you have to keep emptying it every so often. So yes, that is another wonderful find and a wonderful addition to the shop. And another purchase, courtesy of this channel's sponsor, not sponsor, is from Cracked Spanner. It's a small Bernard, as you can see, the Bernard independent 4-jaw chuck. It's the same sort of chuck that is on with my ML10 lathe, just here. But the difference is that this one hasn't got a knackered back plate, whereas I really need to buy or make a new back plate for the ML10 one, because it turns out at some point it's been cross-threaded. So it doesn't screw on to the Super 7, even though they are the same spindle. Something went wrong with that at some point. So thankfully though, ye olde Cracked Spanner had this in his inventory for sale and was able to give it to me for a great price. All I've got to do is just strip this down, clean it up, and just clean everything out on it, and then I'll have a nice little small 4-jaw for the Super 7 as well, because that's the main thing really, is that I've got the big 4-jaw for the Super 7, but it can't hold small or delicate parts very easily because it's just so big, whereas this is a nice little size for doing nice little things, especially coming back to the classic series on my channel that is the small milling machine project from PM Research. Yes, there is more to come in that series. Do not worry, I have not forgotten about it and I have not lost interest in it. I have been waiting for a couple of months now for some cutters to arrive from China. Yay! Gotta love the UK's issue with Brexit, and then COVID and lorry driver shortages and shipping shortages and customs issues. Gotta love that. Anyway, never mind. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. Once again, thank you, Cracked Spanner, for this. Wonderful as always. Brilliant. Something here now that will make many a people who have watched me use my little tiny Emco Unimat milling machine, this will make all you people who have been cringing really, really happy. I don't know if you guys can read that, but if I get it just out of the light, it's a C20 ER16 to 40L 14mm. Now, I'm guessing you people already know what ER16 means. Yes, I have finally bought a collet chuck for my MCO mini lathe. Finally! I actually have a collet chuck with the correct spindle thread and register on the back here, and then an ER16 taper and clamping nut here. Came with a nice 3D printed thing that I can then put in this box, which is super nice to keep all the collets in, because all the collets currently are still inside their little plastic boxes, but I have them all from sizes 1 to 10 millimeters in 1mm increments, which is wonderful and should do me fine for now. If not, I may even be able to find some imperial collets that would fit this. I'm not sure, I'm not holding my breath, but for now I don't need imperial collets for this size, but that is the main thing here. I have finally bit the bullet and bought a set. So you can all stop whining at me for using milling cutter in a Jacob's chuck. Yes, I know, I cringe inside and die inside every time I do it too. At least now I can screw up my projects without any external factors influencing them. I know now that if I screw up a project, it is entirely my fault and my fault alone. Another nice little find that I was able to score at a local car boot. Wonderful, wonderful. And as you can probably read there, small hole gauges by Starrett, and these are the original Starrett brand, not the new ones that are either Indian or China and then imported for them. These are actually made in Scotland. Small, very small bore gauges. I don't know if you can read that, but it goes from 1/8 inch all the way up to 1/2 inch size for measurements in nice incremental steps, and for the metric folk that's 3mm up to 70mm, just for the metric people amongst there, of which I am also one, obviously. They are beautiful, absolutely beautiful pieces of kit. The way they work is truly amazing. I love how they work. You just loosen these off, slide them in the bore, roll them around, just gradually, carefully expand them until, as you're rocking, it just slowly, partially grips ever so slightly, and then retract it and take your measurement like you would do with a telescoping bore gauge. They are super duper indeed, and wonderfully made, as all old Starrett equipment is, and you'd expect it to be. They knew what they were doing in those days, which is rather nice. So yes, another wonderful little find there. This is another purchase that I've made from Ye Olde Crack Spanner, once again. Anybody want to venture any guesses as to what this is? Bear in mind, it weighs an absolute bloody ton. Any guesses? Well, basically, it is a grinding spindle. This is a grinding spindle that can be used on a tool cutter grinder, or if you had a massive lathe, you could use it as a tool post grinder as well. I suppose maybe that's what it was originally. But either way, my plan is I'm going to make a tool and cutter grinder with it. I already have some leads on the actual tool head that you use to hold your bits in for grinding, the actual multi-positional, like 4D positional thing that you hold the tool in. That's to come. The next thing, obviously, as well then, is to have a space to put this, because this weighs a ton. Not an actual ton, figure of speech ton, but still pretty damn heavy. So my plan with this is, ideally, I am thinking of selling my Myford ML10 lathe. In fact, I've already made inquiries about that. If anybody who's watching is interested in purchasing it, please do send me an email through the About section. You'll find my email address there. Just send me an email if you want to get in touch. The beauty of that then is it'll give me quite a large bench area, which should be just nice to be able to mount a tool cutter grinder assembly on. So that's my plan here, is to mount that in that location then, and make all the tool head and stuff to, all the various angle parts that's needed to then act as a grinding head. This is a 3-phase motor on here, and according to Crack Spanner, it's a smooth motor, at least from what he was told. It does spin. I haven't been able to power it up because I haven't got any 3-phase power here. The only way I can run 3-phase is with an inverter, and I don't have one. And I don't have a spare VFD either to test it, but I'm fairly sure it'll work. I trust you, Crack Spanner. I know you're watching. I hope, anyway. I trust you. Don't worry. But that's what this is. That's from him. It's one of the larger purchases I've made recently, so that I'm looking forward to. There's also another large purchase I've made that I will come to at the end of the video and explain that to you to look forward to, because there will be a video series going along with that. This here is my main bench grinder. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look much like a bench grinder at the moment, and that's because it's in many pieces. If any of you follow my social media, you will be aware of I was doing some wire wheeling using this thing, and all of a sudden there was a lot of smoke, a lot of weird noises, and this thing bit the dust. Now, I was able to thankfully get it out of the shop in time in case there was an actual fire, because that's the one thing, obviously, that all of us engineers and all of us shop people dread, is if we, God forbid, ever get a fire in our shops. Always practice safety when you're working with anything flammable. Because at the end of the day, yes, as long as you get out fine, that's good, nice and safe. But when you think about it, a lot of these machines that we have and we use cannot be replaced. So also we have to remember to be cautious when working in our shops to try and make sure we preserve them. Anyway, safety spiel out the way. This is a very, very nice Wolf grinder. It was my granddad's, and before him it was his dad's as well. So it's an old piece of kit. It's been around for a long time. And as it turns out, what went was this grubby thing right here. That is the running capacitor of this. It is a 10 microfarad 380 volt AC capacitor. Bear in mind, this capacitor now you can buy these days, something is about that big. It's something now these days that's about that size. Yeah, just shows how much we have advanced as a civilization, really, doesn't it? But that bit the dust, that's what all this gunge is, as you can see down there. That's the electrolyte compound that's come out the inside. It has died in a spectacular fashion. It's rather gross stuff. It's all slimy and sticky. It's not really good for your hands, but as long as you don't leave it sitting on your hands for a long time, you'll be fine if you get it on your hands. Basically, I actually had Crack Spanner, who also does PAT testing, or PAT, depending on whether you like or don't like tautologies. He came and did a load of electrical testing for me, and at the same time was able to do a winding test on this for me. And as it turns out, the windings in this are still good. So it didn't damage the hardware of the motor itself, which means, thankfully, all I need to do is replace the capacitor. And I'm going to change the bearings over in the spindle as well, because they are the original bearings. And they've seen better days. They're not shot, they're not worn out, they're not completely worn out or anything like that. It's just that they have seen better days. They've got some play in them, a little bit of slop in them. Their time has come. Their time has come. So hopefully at some point there'll be a little video. Maybe it'll just be one on social media, or I may even do a live stream of rebuilding this whole piece of kit. I'm not sure yet whether to strip it and repaint it. I kind of like the aesthetic, the fact that that's the history of the machine is right there in its appearance. The one thing I may do is tidy up the nameplate on it. That might be the only thing I do. Oh, and replace the original rubber cable and replace the original Bakelite plug. I want to keep the Bakelite plug because I like the plug, but it's actually cracked on the end, so it's not safe. I will keep it, like I said, but as a memento, not as the actual usable part that actually powers the grinder then. Yeah. So at the moment I'm just running a little cheapo Parkside bench grinder with a belt sanding bit on one end. It's a nightmare. It's rubbish, not gonna lie. Parkside, I'm surprised really, because Parkside I've usually not had any problems with, but this particular thing I had to modify it to even make it work to start with, and it's brand new out the box. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but hey ho, you get what you get, I suppose. So I finally bought a vise for my vertical mill. This is a very nice and in very good condition Abwood 4-inch vise. Now, you may be able to see over the background, just over here, what looks something to be very similar to the one that's in the front of shot, and that's because it is. I actually now have two of these. Funny story, I bought the one at the back here from Cracked Spanner for a really good price. However, the reason it was a good price is because it's a little bit buggered. So the lead screw, I don't know how the hell they managed to snap the screw on that, but they did. They pulled the threads out the nut and everything. So that requires a lot of fettling to get it running again and get it going. It is repairable because it's a good quality vise. It's made by Abwood. It can be repaired. However, it's a long-term project that hilariously will require a mill to repair the vise for the mill. So I needed another vise, and that's what this is. This actually came from the same seller that I bought my horizontal milling machine off. Now, I've rattled on him before about the horizontal milling machine, saying that it was in bad condition or whatnot. Actually, no. Yes, it's not in brand new condition, but when I got that machine, I was a lot younger in mentality, and it never really occurred to me that, wait, I'm buying old second-hand hardware. Of course it's not going to be like brand new. So actually, no, he's a good seller. He gave me a good price on this. He gave me a nice shipping discount on this as well, because I bought a milling machine from him previously. And actually, now that I think about it, that is a nice horizontal milling machine, and I want to do maintenance on it to bring it up to as good as it can be. So, despite what I've said in the past, I take it all back. He is a good seller, and no, I'm not just saying that because he gave me a discount. Genuinely now I've had to think about it, I have realised the error of my ways, and he is a good seller. He sells a lot of good equipment. Home and Workshop Machinery is his eBay handle, if you want to check him out. I told him I'd give him a shout out in the next video, which is absolutely fine. Yeah, go and check him out. He has a lot of good stuff, a lot of things for sale, and if you speak to him, I'm sure he'll be able to work you a good discount and stuff as well. This, when it showed up, was really grubby and grimy, but he said it was in good condition under the grub, and lo and behold, yes it was. So he is not a fly-by-night cowboy. He is a good, reputable seller. So I will definitely recommend him now forever. He is a fantastic seller. Thank you very much, Home and Workshop Machinery, if you're watching this video. Thank you very much for selling me this wonderful piece of kit here. It's going to prove very useful. Yeah, had a nice handle. This is the handle that came with the other vise. It's nice and smooth. Beautiful work to treat. There's only a small amount of damage to the actual bed up here. Nothing major. There's only one real, actual deep hole in it. The other bits are just a little bit of surface marking. The area where you'd put parallels is still nice and smooth and undamaged, so there's no issue there either. Not to mention the base is all nice and flat, and with the one I got from Cracked Spanner, it actually had the rotating swivel base that goes underneath it. I haven't cleaned it up yet, but if I ever need to, because they are the same vise, they are the same model, I can swap the rotating vise onto here if I need it for any reason whatsoever. So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you once again, Home Workshop Machinery. Great, great, great vise. It's cleaned up a treat, restored a treat. Beautiful. Thank you once again. So, guys and gals, you will all recognise this wonderful piece of kit that I got from John Mills over at Double Boost. It is a true beauty of a machine. It is by far the best purchase I have ever made in my life. It is a true gem to work on. It is a smooth machine, beautiful dream to use. especially since I fitted it with the VFD with its 3-phase motor. Super smooth, nice and quiet. All its gears run beautifully and everything. It has the power crossfeed. If any of you watch Double Boost, which I'm sure you do, you'll be able to go back and look at his channel to see a more in-depth feature review, because he actually did he did a review for Banggood where he fitted a Banggood tool post. Now, as you can see, I use a Pee-wee Tools Multifix tool post on mine. That's just my own personal preference because I love the Multifix system. But it came... John also sold me it with the Banggood tool post that he put on it for the review as well. So this is actually going with a friend of mine, along with a lathe that I'm giving him as a gift, as a first-time workshop for a friend. For him, what I'm giving him is a lathe that's down behind me here. It's a Portus Dreadnought lathe from about 1940s-ish. It's cleaned up really well. I've restored it, and it needs a quick change tool post, so he can have that one. I don't need one going spare, so that one will fit to it quite nicely. Either way, getting sidetracked. The reason I'm showing you this and talking about this like this is because this lathe is missing one thing that would complete this to top spec perfect. Myford sold and still sell a little addition that fits just here. That is a quick change gearbox for this lathe. Now, you can buy them brand new from Myford. They're about 1,500 quid. And that is expensive. That is ridiculously expensive, really, when you consider as well it's made in India. They say it's made in the UK. It's not. I have sources, I'm not going to reveal who, but they know, they're in the know, and I know for a fact that the castings and everything and the machining is done in India, and then it's shipped and just assembled in the UK, so they can claim it's made in the UK when it's not. Don't get me wrong, their connoisseur lathe, which comes with it as standard and everything like that, it's a good machine, but there are some other YouTubers out there. In fact, I'll link to a YouTuber down in the description below who's bought one of those brand new lathes, and he's done a quick view of it, and he said that yes, it's a good machine, but the ones you get, they're not up to the quality of these old ones, because they haven't gone to as great a detail in the finish, for instance. Like the paint isn't as thick, there's no filler anywhere to compensate for any defects in castings, and the edges, like here for instance, are really sharp and you can actually cut yourself on it. The holes aren't deburred or anything like that. So it's just little things like that that can be a little annoying in today's cut price society, especially when you pay such a high price tag for a machine. Bear in mind, like I said, buy the gearbox to retrofit on this, because I contacted Myford, it was 1,500 quid. Now you can buy, that's half the price of buying a brand new entire Connoisseur Super 7 lathe. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, the price of just the gearbox does not equate to half the price of the entire machine. It just doesn't. So, as most people do who have these old machines, they will look around for somebody who is parting an old one out, or just happens to have one that's like laying around that they never fitted, or just got given one with something else that somebody didn't know they'd got. And I just happened to have scored one of those finds. I've been able to find a quick change gearbox for this wonderful machine. It's even the same colour as this machine, which is always a bonus, because a lot of the times you get them, they were just shipped in the standard green, not the grey. So to have the green one to be able to, the grey one to be able to just put on, complete with its wheel covers and guards and everything, and an instruction fitting manual, it's going to transform this machine significantly. It means I'll be able to do threading a lot easier, because at the moment I have to do the change wheel dance to be able to sort all that out, which gets annoying to say the least to deal with. I have all the change gears, so it's not like I'm missing them, but it takes a good, to make sure for threading you've got it set up correctly, from starting up at the feed configuration that it is currently to swap to, let's say, a 12 TPI thread. You'd be talking about 20 minutes to swap the change gears. And if you're only doing a short thread, like that long, and then you need to do some more turning operations, you've then got to spend another 20 minutes putting everything back to the feed configuration that it is currently. It just eats into a lot of your work time, which when you're talking, yes, if you're talking a production environment, that's definitely a no-no. In a hobby environment, it's a nice to not have to do, but also it's, in my opinion, it's kind of necessary really, because unless you are completely bored with nothing else to do at all, you have no other commitments in your life whatsoever, you know, you have no other friends or anything that you need to go and see, no shopping to go and do or anything like that, then that's fine. You go ahead, or maybe even make your own gearbox at that point, you know, because you'll have time to make one. But for those of us who also have to do work, actual work for a living, a quick change gearbox is going to be the way forward. So I've ordered that. I've had notification it's been shipped. I'm going to do a short video series, probably a 2 or 3 part series of installing it onto this wonderful machine. Now, there is already a series where I installed the electrical controls for this to fit the VFD. Now, as you probably are all screaming at me saying, but you can't put it there because you've got controls. Yeah, I know. I am now going to have to move this round, and I'm going to install it on this leg down here. I don't think, no, you can't see that. So if I slowly and carefully bring it down, I'm going to move it to this leg down here. Now there's already some holes there from a very original mounting for a control panel. As far as I can tell, I can reuse 2 of those holes and then just drill another 1 or whatever for this, as well as then holes through for the wiring. That's fine. The hard work for this electrical thing has already been done, which was making the box and wiring it in and all that, and learning how to wire it. So that is that. So the first part of that series will be moving the wiring box down to that leg, and then second part will be most likely looking at installing the actual gearbox itself, but it will also be modifying this lead screw. As it turns out, because this is the cross-feed lathe, it has the key slot in it for driving the cross-feed. Now, what that means is that, yes, I can buy a lead screw for it from Myford, or even there are some online on eBay, for instance, that you could get, but they're about 300 quid. And as I was speaking to the person who I bought it from, the instructions come with how you modify your existing lead screw for the gearbox. So that's not an issue. I'm fairly sure what you have to do is you have to cut a key slot in it, which is easy. I have a horizontal or a vertical mill that I can do that on, so that's not a big issue at all. So yes, that is going to be the next big plan for this. Well, that is the conclusion of this video. Like I said, it was just a quick bits really to show you some newer acquisitions for the shop, and also what the plans are for the future in here. Now, the one thing I will say is that before all of you start saying, you said something about the PM research kit, what are you going to do? I am still working on that. There's still videos to come on that, do not worry. I mean, hell, I love to do machining, and I need projects to actually do in this machine shop rather than just constantly building up the machine shop. So that's what the first real project is going to be on there, is finishing that off. Like I said earlier, I am waiting for some cutters to arrive from China. They're Klotz brand. Can't say I've heard them before, but they seem good. What I've been waiting for is some specialised dovetail and T-slot cutters, because your standard 60-degree dovetail cutters that you normally buy, like this sort of size, they're way too big for doing the mini 1/12 scale machine. So I've been waiting for some very, very small 60-degree dovetail cutters to arrive, all the way from the golden shores of China. So, oh, excuse me, that hopefully is should be here soon, and I'll be able to get on with another video in that series and hopefully get on with that. Because to be really honest, I'm dying to move on with that. It's going to be a nice thing to get finished. That, especially seeing as in the time it's taken me to do this, it's basically Joe Pye at Advanced Innovations has not only started and finished the mini lathe, but he's also at least 3/4 of the way through yet another kit from them. So definitely shows me how much I'm falling behind with these with the videos in that. So I do apologise for that. But don't worry, there are more to come. Do not worry. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please do leave a comment down below. I love reading your guys and gals' comments. They really help me engage with my audience and see what you people want. And any constructive feedback, I'm always welcome to. Always welcome to constructive criticism. If you don't listen to constructive criticism, you can't grow as a person. So I'm always happy to hear what you guys or gals have to say. Thank you once again, everyone. Also, side note, if you do like my content and you would like to see more and you don't want to risk missing out, make sure you click the subscribe button and then turn on notifications by clicking that little bell, because that also helps. Apparently, YouTube algorithms, they're all nonsense. So you guys or gals know what to do. You know what to do. Yeah. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see you next time. Cheerio.